Imu Afrika. Datsurandi wa matuba andi tsautubuza atichikokobi. Nandi fifenda. Datsurandi wa matuba andi tsautubuza atichikokobi. Nandi mulala. Datafuna sote sikalakatoso mibara. Mikumbi na shikokobi zirarontiba. Naukonda aswani musari waso. Nakatia singavituba. Datsurandi wa matuba andi tsautubuza atichikokobi. Nandi sangwa nisaya soma nisambiraho. Demu Afrika. Yaki beu yabakalaka. Koroja bomunerile bomulugwana. Koroja bokulube cheu kulube na. Kulube grana makramu twapila. Kulube yabulobe kulube taba buluba media bula. Demu Afrika. Home in Africa is where I belong. Here I see the broad pouring over the window, and I see Africa coming towards me, flooding my eyes with just like smoke burning forces. Cover the chimney on a heavy couching machine. It tells me as story as it is. Go home, boy. I was told, home is Africa. Nandimo Africa. Fleas, bees, these birds and butterflies. They always revealing my ending joyful Africa. While the dance and quiver on a joyful summertime. I am in Africa.
Esingakusho nje ukuthi Roribuwa ngamanda we Venda boy imbongi wayisho kamnandi seyishaya ngeyibongo zayo ayibongezwa nami ukuthi ngempela ungumAfrika. Sanibona nonke lapha emakhaya sanamukela kuhlelo olihamba phambili oluthandwa abantu futhi njengoba nanibonela elithuthukisa isizwe sangakithi yona ke Daily Thetha khona la ku SABC 1 Mzansi for sure. I'm sure you've guessed it mbukela ukuthi namhlanje isihloko sethu sibheke zona izimbongi. Ngisho mina ukuthi they are the connection between the past and the present. Abantu abanikiwe laba, they often have the gift of seeing through spiritual eyes. God, not just through spiritual eyes, they use their words to convey the spiritual messages that they carry in them. Abantu abakwazi ukusixwayisa laba bayasikhuphula isizwe. Abantu who walk before presidents ngisho nazo inkosi. Abantu abaqukethe amagama aphilisayo la isizwe saseningizimu Afrika. We celebrate them today. God, we're asking a very important question. Ukuthi their role in modern day society. We've seen them, what they've been able to do in times of history. They've played a very sacred role. Kodwa esikhathini samanje, do we celebrate them? Siyabanikeza yini indawo yabo egcwele noma we've simply dumbed them down to ama-event, sometimes angasho nalutho.
You know, when you speak about events, ngicabange we South Africa kwezombhoxo bahamba bayothatha indebe. Kodwa before baphume stadium, kwezwa imbongi ingena, beyingena yayingena ishisa amazwi agijima phezulu. Ilandela umlilo emva kwayo uzwe ngempela ukuthi akungeni nomba uthakazela isizwe sase-Afrika esiyonqoba indebe. Ngibukele nje ubuhlele ekhaya ngempela namhlanje sikhuluma ngakho lokho. Sikhuluma ngokuthi imbongi aboba benzani, izimbongi zenzani emphakathini ukuthi ngikwazi ukuthi nami ngikwazi ngifike egcekeni lakini, ngifike nginibike, nginibize niphelele, ngikhashoba ngoba siyasho isinto ukuthi abanye ayi ngoba umsebenzi babiziwe, and we want to understand abanjani ababizwayo. What roles and responsibilities do they really play emphakathini wethu? Siyazi ukuthi ngesikhathini sakudala it was something very simple ebebeyenza ukuthi bakhulume, kodwa esikhathini samanje izinto zitshintshile. Siyazi kunodlame, siyazi izinto ezimbi zenzeka. What is the tales are they telling ku-2022? Bukele nginibingelela ugcwalini usibe uzizwe umunja. Hawa amanye amadoda bebhenqele ehlangene, amanye amadoda bebhenqele endlini. Ngithi sanibonani emakhaya, sanibingelela ku-Daily Thetha. Akodwa ukhona ke nosisifortune kwamadlala nayo silekelelayo. Hayi simkhohlanga ukhona usisekhaya.
Angoba mina ngiyiqueen bengithi ukuthi uhamba phambi kwami nje lokhu ungisho nami. Kodwa that is just the beauty, you know, and I think oftentimes sibona the loud expressions, you know, the bold expressions. Sikhohle ukuthi masithi siyalalela ngendlebe zikamoya. The wisdom that comes from these big words really can change a nation. Asike sibuke Melody ukuthi social social media ithini siye siba invite ababukeli lapha emakhaya ukuthi baxhumane nathi ngendlela ezahlukahlukene sikhona einkundleni Facebook, Twitter as well as Instagram. Kodwa usungashala nocingo 011 We love to hear from you. Let's take a look at the social media message that has already come through. Gwanele Msiza Oti, I think izimbongi are still relevant and important in society today because they comment on what is happening and how proficient our leadership is. And that is something that is to behold. That is a role that not just Unoma Ubani can step into. Izimbongi azisabi, you know, they don't hold back. They go for a topic and they go for it with all the vigor they have.
I wonder, ngiyazibuza nje ukuthi ulusha lamhlanje liya understanda indima yebongi. Kodwa ke bakhona studio ake sibabuze, especially izandla. Mfowethu sikhuluma ngezimbongi, ngicela ungithathela usanitize izandla bese ngibambela microphone. Usichazele kancane ukuthi wena besikhuluma ku 2022 sikhuluma ngezimbongi, sikhuluma ngoba. Do we know as the youth of today what does it mean to be imbongi?
Bathi mfoka Mtungu ombulazo umzilikazi kaMashobane ekhemisi simefona ofisha njengonini uMantini angibingelele uSmeva lo wakamabaso eThekwini KZN. So if nikhuluma kukhulunywa ngeimbongi kumina kufika isithombe sokuthi kusho ukuthi namanje izinto bebezenzeka before namanje kusho ukuthi zisalandelelwa noma kukhona lapho kushoda khona ngoba mangithi ngiyabheka imbongi kwesinye isikhathi kunezinto ezenzekalayo uthola ukuthi zona ayifakwa mangenza nje umzekelo like ama-artist makuthiwa kuyoperformwa kungaba kuhle uthola ukuthi mhlambe izimbongi nazo zithola ithuba zihambe ziyoperform uthola ukuthi kunama shows lapho khona evezwa khona enziwa ama documents eimbongi lapho khona kuzoboniswa neyouth ukuthi imbongi makhulunywa ngembongi khulunywa ngani.
So sibona umculi ofana njengosijava umuntu oyiqhenyayo ngesinto sakubo before angene stage uyakhuluma asho ukuthi ayithakazelele ayibizele and does that embrace isintu esinaso manje or does it take away from imbongi?
Ungena kwaSijava eyibongelela estage liyanto ukuba imbongi kahle kahle kufana nokuthandaza kufana nomkhuleko ngoba if uSijava eyibiza engena estage ubiza ithakazelo zakubo nje obukade ungizwa mina ngimemeza umntungu umbulazo umzilikazi kaMashobane ngibiza inyanya zakithi ukuthi njengoba manje sengena ngifuna zize zingamele zingibone ukuthi cha sengikhona la ngikhona kusho ukuthi ukuba imbongi kufana nomthandazo mangena usuke ekhuleka ngendlela yesintu
ngoba ngempela wena mfoka Khumalo we don't walk alone, we never ever walk alone. But wami xa ucinga wena xa ungasanitizer izandla uthathe nemic i-role yezimbongi in modern day South Africa in 2022 ngoku sibona izinto ezininzi zitshintshile. Do they still have indawo yawo in our society?
All right, andinibulise ninxibele kahle Grotman yeah as Africa Day. Igama ngumfundi uSteve Over the Kwaito legend, currently ndibuya eEastern Cape ndingumXhosa. Yeah sister yabona lenantseki ijulile kakhulu siswami yabona understand the culture yethu is very important because ama 2000 sizawa blamer but at the same time thina self umlando asuphethanga. Remember overseas by culture yomuntu omnyama bayayithanda. Now sithetha ngembongi, imbongi yintoni? Imbongi abayi understand the reason why because abayifundiswanga akhona ongayi understand ongayifundiswanga. Imbongi powerful. Remember imbongi ivela makuvela abantu abakhulu. For instance inkosi, ipresident. I remember out bathi ngumayibuya eAfrica nayo epowerful kakhulu. Iyo welcome uObama the time eza kusifihlo sika Mandela, you know. So xa ujonga lento embongi, imbongi bekumelo yona artist like ephezulu kakhulu and esisebenzisayo kakhulu kwi culture kuma event wethu.
Ivakele bhuti wami inkosi kakhulu. Asike sihambe siye eItolo. Masibuya sifuna ukutholisisa kabanzi ngawona lo mlando lo weimbongi. Siyazi ukuthi bahamba nabantu abakhulu baqukethe futhi amakhono nezipho ezinkulu. Kodwa what does it all mean? Stay with us.
What's the level? What's the life? It's your boat. The leader of the pack. Yeah. Oh. Namhlanje we are talking about the importance of imbongi. Irole abayidlalayo empilweni zethu. Ingabe siyabazi babenza ntoni? Are they still relevant? Kodwa basingena estratweni siba nina nicinga ntoni? What's amabhosini? Ingabe uyazi ukuthi yini imbongi and ba relevant kanjani in the new day and age?
Imbongi ngesikhathi samanje very relevant. Of course, sokubuye sathatha ama Western cultures and stuff. Yikho sokwenza ukuthi imbongi ngathi azibonakali, but they are very relevant because izo esigcina usiko lwethu, izo esigcina iheritage yethu njengabantu besintwini. So imbongi constantly relevant.
Imbongi ke itse iruta ka se ga rona. Ke setso sa ba boka ka se ga rona setso sa ga rona ka gore banana ba gampeko ha ba itse setso sa ga rona.
Those are the poets, understand? So in this DNA ngingasho ukuthi yes we still have them, but I think they are not that recognized in this DNA namhlanje than way before, we understand? But nje yeah man, I know poets and I love the poets, yeah.
Mocabanga ngabe yipi role imbongi ezidlalayo ku society?
Ngicabanga ukuthi irole abayidlalayo like is to wazisa abantu about the culture yethu, about African religions.
It's been teach about like messages zithumela like we youth nabantu but society like some motivated sometimes also like can boost like the energy of like if we feel shut down just listen to like a poem or imbongi like we're motivated also like feel positive sometimes.
Firstly, as I mentioned, they preserve our culture. Secondly, imbongi educate the community, educate the society on how to interact with the community, how to behave in the community. They also teach us about the norms and values of different cultures, because there are some of the things that are being called as taboo. So those things mainly are being mentioned by imbongi, but not by the today generation. So imbongi are very important in this side.
Ngikuthanda kakhulu ukusho lo bhuti ukuthi bayasikhumbuza ukuthi singobani, bayakwazi ukuthi basikhumbuze ngokubaluleka kokuthina ama-Africa. They are able to bring solutions to the table. Kanti futhi masithi siyabalalela ngokwamoya siyakwazi ukuthola ixazululo ezintweni eziningi. Ukhona ke uLungisani Mavundla, who is an author and cultural expert. Sithi njengoba sifuna ukwazi umlando wazo ezimbongi, sazi ukuthi sikulanda kuphi. Sekamukela ohlelweni Lungisani, mungasichazela nje just the history of these great men and women that we've witnessed throughout history.
Sisabingelela ababukeli emakhaya, sibonga nethuba. Owayebonga ingonyama uDinuzulu kacetshwayo kaMpande kasenza ngakhona uthi mayehamba phambi kwayo uthi umamonga wosuthu umamonga kabulala uyasizila uqotha imbokodo nesisekelo ufana nendlovu emnyama yasondini usilwana nkunzi imbili enye ngiyakongenetsheni enye ngiyasebhanganomo umbiza ngomgwazi kaDinwazi inqapheli inkonene ezinga umzophuma ehlathini bawulabalabela uma ngake ngiqhubeke uma ngake ngiqhubeke kungashona ilanga into eyenza kushona ilanga ingoba kusukela ekuqaleni ngoba kunomehluko phakathi kwembongi nosonkondlo.
Yes.
Kusukela ekuqaleni imbongi yawusomlando. Ikuxoxela umsuka wezinto nezimo. Uthola ukuthi njengoba ibonga lo omkhulu embongayo qala nje ichaza yena ukuthi uzalwa ubani, usehlabane kwigigaba ezingakanani, unamuphi umthelela, waphoxa obani, waphakamisa obani. Ngakho umsebenzi wembongi kakhulu nakaningi okokuqala nje ukuxoxa umlando. Okwesibili ukugcina noma ukuqhakambisa izilimi zethu. Thina bakwantu ngike ngathi uma ngilungiselela lenkulumeza ngapha kwaba khona umbhalwana nje omncane engubhale ngifuna ukufaka lento yobunkondlo ngoba awukwazi ukuthi uyimbongi ulimi lwakho ungalwenzanga lwehluka kokujwayelekile. Uma ukhuluma uyimbongi ngeke ukhulume njengoba ngikhuluma. ngabhala into ethi namanje ngisakhuleka namanje ngisathandaza kungabibikho langa eliyophumela elangeni ngalo engafumana ubaba esengumagaya azidlele kudadewethu eyibhubesi elizondla ngemithinyane yalo nomama owayesehlala ngokuba izichitshana isinxibi nempabanga emendweni oyigibhithe elalifike njengesethembiso seKhanani sondla sonke izilimi zethu ngokusebenzisa amagama othi mawalandela lamagama uthola ukuthi kwayiwona awumlando ingane izokikubuza ukuthi ithini into ngeGibhithe umama mase kuthi useyisinxibi yini isinxibi yini iGibhithe iKhanana lisho ukuthi there's a story behind iKhanana there's a story behind iGibhithe there's a story behind so uhlanganisa amagama othi lilodwa ulandela likutshela umlando omude ozokwakhela isizwe ubusukutshela ukuthi kunini la ngifike ngwethembise khona iKhanana kanti ngizokufaka eGibhithe ngamafushane izimbongi zazikhonela lokho ukusitshela ngoba zona zazikhona umhlaba ungakasekwa imbongi futhi seziyazi ngisho ukuthi kuyokwenzakalani ekupheleni komhlaba so abantu laba abapermanent abangeke beze bafe ngoba akubona basemhlabeni bavele ezulwini.
Deeply contemplative, that is beautifully put.
And what I love the most is how you speak ngolimi kakhulu. And I mean, we find this because salamhlanje ulimi lethu liyasilahla ngobani sifuna ukwenza direct translation yabo leyo and isigcine sesihluleka ukunderstand the importance of preserving ulimi lethu and inkinga esikhambe sengiyibona based on what you've said ukuthi kube nalento lokuthi sesigijimela kakhulu into the western culture uyacabanga ukuthi siyasilahla yini isintu kulento esikuyona
ngiyaqonda ukuthi kungani sigijimela uwestern culture isisu silambile uwestern culture uyakhokha uyadayisa ngoba ngifuna ukuyifanisa nothile wasentshonalanga bese fast futhi kuthiwa hawu ngifana nosibani bese ngiyakhokhelwa ngokwenza kwami kanjalo bese yalahleka imbongi yayi activist isishabasheki nesishoshovu sokugcinwa komlando namasiko futhi sasikwenza lokho singakhathalele enkokhelo kodwa ngenxa yokuthi awukwazi ukwenza lokho ulambile kuyofuneka ukuthi ngibheke ukuthi aba television bafunani bese ngincika kakhulu kulokho abakufunayo khona umnewethu oseke wakhuluma ngokuthi kuyimanje imbongi azinakiwe umubheka uma sikhuluma ngemoral regeneration ukwakhiwa nokubuyiselwa komuntu kumuntu ukubuyiselwa komuntu omusha endaweni ofuneka idlale imbongi they have perfected the message iphelele but the question is are we ready to receive the message and appreciate it through buying the content and the material abasinikeza yona not as yet which is the reason why uzosithola sesiyeka leyo content bese sikushaya ngalezi shandisike zesingisi
ngifuna a bit later sibuyele kuyona leyo ngoba nesesithinte kancane kodwa ngiyahlala ukuthi you know kulezi zinto esizibona today it's so important to preserve asiqale ngomlezo ongenayo kufisasi TJ ku Facebook uthi imbongi are part of African heritage and are very important people who have knowledge about cultures and traditions. They are also keepers of knowledge because they tell stories with their praises. They are very important, especially in this day and age where our young people forget where they come from as people. I even wonder, how do I qualify ukuthi bangithakazele kube nembongi ebakhona kodwa soxoxa ngakho besibuye itolo kwamanje mbukeli hlala nathi siyabuya.
Sabukele yona ke i-Daily Thetha on SABC 1 Mzansi for sure. All right, it's time for us to continue discussion here to Maljo versus Kuluma about who qualifies. And it's an important question because I've never seen somebody who's considered ordinary ofana nam nawe mhlambe phela
abantu bazenzela futhi nakhona. We also see ukuthi kunabantu who use things that they're not supposed to be using, but lesingajabuli ifilungisana ungasichazela kulo mbuzo.
No, kahle kahle is-Africa sithi wonke umuntu uyinkosi esigabeni sakhe. Yingakho eqalile umzilikazi lapha ekhuluma waqale wabonga bakubo. Nami nje kuba bengithola isikhathi bengiyombonga ubaba. Nanoma ubani oyiqhawe unezibongo zakhe. Nami nje nginazi ezami. Kodwa ngicabanga ukuthi lokhu ke esesikwazi thina kwamakhosi mhlawumbe nomongameli abathile kusuke sekushiyana ke ubuqhawe ukuthi sikusiphi isigaba. Kodwa nje uma ngifike ekhaya kithi ngizongena nje ekhaya kithi ngingene esangweni kufuneke ngibabonge bonke abakithi kusukela ekuqaleni ngisho ngibabize ngomzilikazi kwamashobana nakho lokho kuseyini kuseyukubonga kwayikhona lokho. So kuloko ukuthi ubani oqualifyayo njengama Africa kufanele vele sonke siziphathise okwamakhosi sazi ukuthi kunabantu abasibukayo abangezansi. Ingakho ngisho nokuhamba kwethu kufuneke kungaphuci ngoba sesona izibongo zethu. Osibongayo sibonga thini uma ngabe sitholakala sibandakanyeke ezenzweni zokuhlukumeza abesifazane nezingane, sitholakala sisebugebengweni njalo nje zizothini izibongo zethu.
I love what you're saying. Futhi ngikhumbuza ngisemncane ngihlala nogogo nomkhulu waye neqembu lakhe ke ngazi bebuka ama society noma into zomphakathi kanjalo. Kodwa kwakuthi makufika umntungu ekhaya kwanene afika athi sikhulekile ekhaya afike bese ayasisho kanjalo. Nawe lapha ekhaya mangabe nayo indaba othanda ukuyixoxa mhlambe ngezimbongi noma usitshele nje ukuthi wena ubani usungashela ke ucingo nombolo 011 33913191315. Please do that for us. Kodwa we carry on in our discussion, and I'd really like to bring in some of our other guests ukhona ke ukwazintsele uNu Sam uVenda Boy kanti noMutalane Mokhatla who are all izimbongi. They've all walked a particular journey. Njengoba sezwile before the ad break ukuthi they're the holders of stories, they're the holders of history. Nu Sam, uhambo lwakho wena, how did all of this come about? And what has your history of being imbongi meant to you?
Well, mina as uNu Sam angisiyimbongi. Ngiqala ngisho nje jade shilubhuti kunosonkondlo kunezimbongi. Ngingusonkondlo mina. I tell stories like ngibhala indaba. I create talk about love poems about abuse or whatever. Poet, angbongi. But then growing up, I've seen about Putuzolani TV, Bebonga, and it's a very beautiful thing. Umbongi, but I don't know much about it.
When you njoba ushukuthi wena uyi poet, uya creator, ushukuthi mhlambe because we heard earlier on ulungisani athi izimbongi they are the people abaphethe umlando wonke. They are the people who hold secrets, who are able to foretell the future, able to warn us. When you are a poet, how different is that? When you say you create, ushukuthi uqamba scenarios that then bring across a certain message, whether it is to teach. I just want you to make that distinguishment for us.
Yeah, I think it's kufani. Yeah. Makufika kuloko kutheni siyafundisa sonke sonke sibhala ngezinto ezingenzeka at some point or esezeke zenzeka before. Kuyafana there, but then imbongi jade kusho ukuthi iqhamuka inkosi maqhamuka ama president ikutshela ngomuntu lo oqhamukayo ukuthi usendlule ekuziphi isigaba ubaleke kanganani. So mina angibhali ngabantu, ngibhala nje ngama situations nje, but kuyafana ekutheni siyafundisa sonke we send a certain message to the people.
That is
interesting. Kwazi, bringing you in, I mean uyimbongi yesiZulu. And ngiyacabanga for you to become it, there was a journey ethize nawe ihambile. Ake sizwe kancane ijourney yakho ukufika la sokhona.
Mfoka baba kuningi kumele sikufundise phakathi kweimbongi nosonkondlo. Engikujabulele kakhulu ukubizwa kulolu hlelo ngenxa zokuthi luningi ulwazi okumele lidluliswe ngaphambi kokuba si-identify umuntu ezimbongi nomuntu ezusonkondlo. Engifila mina njengamanje ngaqala ezimbongi kodwa makuqhubeka isikhathi njengoba deshilo ubhuti Mavundla ukuthi makuqhubeka isikhathi ngenxa zendlala nangendlela ukuthi yini into ehamba ngaleso sikhathi uzubona ukuthi kahle kahle nansi into eyenziwa abantu ehambayo ugcina nawe usuba usonkondlo. Ngokwephimbo lami lale ngivumela ukuthi ngingaba imbongi kodwa ngokubukela abafowethu ababephambili bengosonkondlo nami ngabona ukuthi makuthiwa ngiyakwazi ukubhala ngezimo ngama senses ngoba phakathi kunomehluko phakathi kwembongi nosonkondlo. Imbongi njengoba echazile yonke ukuthi umlando wembongi uqhamuka mawukhuluma ngenkosi yaqhamuka imbongi lapho mawukhuluma ngeqhawe yaqhamuka imbongi izobabaza izokhulisa yehlise ikhulume ngesituation noma ngezimo nangegaba umuntu lo muntu esuke imbongela akabuya kuzona kanti usonkondlo umuntu osuke ekhuluma ngama senses kufana njenge sense yokuthinta isense yokubona isense yokutaste isense yokulalela so mina ngagcina ngawela kakhulu lapha ekubeni usonkondlo.
Boyiba kanjalo sengiyelahleka kancane kanti ngizobuyisela emuva.
Okay.
Kunenkolo phakathi. There's a spiritual element kunalento yabantu abaphansi abahamba nawo.
Yes.
Do you consult la sozoshintsha khona so uyangapha or yinto nabe sebeyazi ukuthi acha sayenza?
Ukuba usonkondlo awuplan futhi akuyona into osuthi mina sengiyavuka njengamanje ngiyabhala ngathi sonke emasikhulu esikoleni besibhala lapha inkondlo emva kwama exercise kodwa uma kuqhubeka isikhathi igcina le nto le bebabaza izinto ozibhalayo ezinye izinto othi musubhalile ziqede zenzeke kuningi sesikubhalile esikubhale kungakenzeki emveni kuma sekwenzeka abantu mase beyathuka so mina ngingasithatha njengokuthi ngimbongi yomhlaba ngoba ziningi izinto enginokuzibhala ngezinto ezenzakalayo lapha emhlabeni ezingakenzeki usifica ukuthi nangampela ziyenzeka kuningi esengakubhala engikusho lapha emoyeni esengakubhala ngikubhala ngingazi ukuthi kuzokwenzeka emveni ukuthi mase sekwenzekile mase kuthiwa hey niyamkhumbula ukuthi ukwazi insele wakwabhala ngale nto ilapho ke mina ngathola irelevance yami ezusonkondlo kuvela umbongi ekubhaleni kwami ingakho ngekwazi ukuhlukanisa imbongi nosonkondlo ngoba sonke siyadala sinesiphiwo sokubona asiphili ngokwenyama kuphela siphila nangokomoya ingakho ungeke ukwazi ukuthi uboshwe noma uthethiswe amacala ngezinto ozibhalile ngoba wena ubona okungakenzeki.
That is sacred. That is so powerful. Ngiyathokoza ke ukuthi lapha emakhaya nani you were brave enough to say let's call into the show today. Angeke ngimusho the person that is on the line ngoba sithe masithi fonani sisho ukuthi sibike osibike umuntu sawubona.
Sakwamukela kudeli Thetha sisho.
Hello buthi kunjani?
Sikhona mfowethu sithi ayawuzibika sifuna ukukubiza ngegama sifuna ukuzwa ukuthi wena uzibiza ngoba
ngubhukhwana umbaha umshobi iphapile ngonyaka ubuyela ligama kanami ngifani ngiyabuyela buthi mani nami
enkosi
buthi ngifumanayo ngumXhosa ngiyazinca ngobuXhosa bazi
ngasicela ntoni ke wena ngaso lesi sihloko sethu esijongane nobumbongi
ukubonga sisi kuxa uzazi imvelaphi yakho imvelaphi yakho usazi amasiko nezithetha kokwenu so xa kubonga kuxa ke ngoku umuntu evuselela la nje ngaphakathi kwakho njengomXhosa mina njengomuntu wesintu so ngingayibeka ngolo hlobo mina sisi wami
because ihamba silahleka ke bhuti wami zisibuyisa njani izimbongi back to ourselves and back to our African heritage.
Okay, xa kwixesha lamandulo xa kuzaba khona umsebenzi ke seswami kwindlu yakwantu okanye kulomnombo uthile sisiva ngembongi zizo ezona zihuqa ingcambu yethu so sisibuyisa ngalomaxa sikhumbule ngakumbi uba sivelaphi singobani
wayibheka yavakala kamandi enkosi kakhulu bhuti ngosifonela ne
Sibonga mfowethu sibusana khona studio I mean matalana moghatla wena as imbongi yesipedi you know and some people don't know ukuthi each language has its own representatives because of how you see it in events and some events don't do it and some do but sibonga isikhathi sakho and I mean we want to also know your history and how you found your calling in this journey.
tla ke le tamisheng ke le ba mongwe tla o le mpha ona nna ke le mmatalane magatlo mohuedi tekola leihlo maratsa wa kopane godimo ba rwa ke fashe mošwedi diatla ba re phatlha le ga sa tlhapa nna ka jana e tšhila tša go ke maseke le bebe nna leeto la ka le thomile mo e le gore ke ratile segagešo ka nyako tseba ka segagešo ke sa lemoga le gore ka be le gore ke pitso ya ka gona moo ka tla ka thoma go reta magoši ke sepela le bona kore go reta moo go jalo ka thapelo ka re gantši le ge re thoma mediro re thoma ka go reta kore mo dithetong tša rena go re bitša ba bagolo ka baka la gore re thoma gore bolela ka bomagolo ye nngwe re kgone le botša gore ke rena ba mang re tšwa mo kae so ge re ntše re bolela ka na mokgwa re kgone go le tsebiša gore ke rena go mang re ya kae re tšwa kae ke se e le gore ke rata se re thuša gore re kgone go tseba gore ba re o tshwanetse gore o tseba gore kwene mang gore o tlo kgone go tseba gore o ya kae
o itse ke ratile eng ge gore wena o ratile setšho wa rata magoši so ge o fumana gore o na le this calling o thomile yang go ya ko magošing o fitlhile fela wane gore nna ke nna this person ene ke na le calling ya go dira se le se kapo because kings are sacred you know magoši a na le process tsa one that they take you mhlomong to their own sangoma to say hey kopela le lebeleng ntate mogatla o re he's this and this and that and now wants to enter into this kingship as imbongi
nna ke be ke ya ke apere ka mokgwa ke apereng ka gona ge go na le meletlo ba ile ba mpona gana mole ba ntse ba gore mathomong ke be ke reta eupša ke be ke sa rete direto tše tša magoši ke be ke reta ka mokgwa kgaetše ja retang ka gona ka go ngwala ke mongwadi ke na le dibukana tše ke di ngwadilego eupša go tloga gana mo ba tsa gore o ba reta ka botša ke a kgona go reta le direto tša gabolene fa ra re ko monna ge le gore wa reta ya nape ya thoma gana mo ka reta magoši a borena
wa re ke eng ke go reta ke rata sepedi ke se rata kudu-kudwana we're learning so much on Daily Thetha and this is just the beauty of what they do Melody bring us closer to ourselves through our language through ingubo esiyifakayo you know just through who we are they really reach deep down to the core of who we are and we love that. Let's carry on with all our beautiful colorful guests Masibuyedolo.
kusasa iyonakete lithetha mbukeli nje ubuhlele ekhaya. Siyajabula emhleni nathi namhlanje. We are celebrating Africa Day. Kodwa sibone kubalekile ukuthi understand ukuthi when you speak about, you know, people that are able ukuthi baphakamisa abaphansi basekhaya ngenkondlo nakhona abanye when they come as people who praise us, what does it mean to our society lahleli khona? Sithi nakuwena mbukeli ngokuzibika kwakho bozoshaya ucingo ku-011 339 135 sifuna ungena uzibike. Siyazi ukuthi ke sathi ishu esikhawini sicela ukuthi ungena ucingweni nawe uzibike mbukeli.
Awu ngibingelele bafowethu kakhulu. Awu nikhuluma nompuphuzo kasawuthi ubo kasho labade bawuqeda yeka mawukikivela ngakaqedi.
Hawu qhubeka ke.
Kakhulu bafowethu sifuna ukugcizelela ukuthi imbongi ziyaphilisa, ikakhulukazi zisikhumbuza ukuthi sizalwa obani sisukaphi. Izona ezisinikeza iclue yempilo yethu. Manje kakhulu ke sithenge kakhulu lokhu kwangaphandle ngoba eke washo nje umfethu Mavundla ukuthi sisuke sifuna into esheshayo. Kodwa kakhulu imbongi ziyasinika umsuka wethu ukuthi kuphi la sisuka khona, ikuphi la sibheke khona. Uma ungazazi ngempela ukuthi usukaphi, kunzima ukuzazi la obheke khona. Imbongi ke ziyasinika ukuthi sazi ukuthi kuphi apha sisuka khona. Ingakho sibonga kakhulu kubafowethu abazimbongi ibona basinikeza iclue yalapha esisuka khona. Emakhaya zibaluleke kakhulu, ikhona nje imbongi yakithi makuzophuma umshado mase kukhona yena kuyaziwa ukuthi ke manje kuyaziwa ukuthi kuphi asibheke khona. Siyacela abafowethu kuhlalwe kakhulu kulolu siko lombongi bafowethu, ikhona okubaluleke kakhulu empilweni.
Engikuthanda kakhulu ukuthi kuyaziwa ukuthi wena makufika ku-edutainment xolani wasesikhawini uhamba noba ubizwa yithina ke iDaily Thetha. Sibonge kakhulu ukuphawula kwakho namhlanje. Venda boy urini ukhabatanganeza ne nko dodo fese sorry, this thing that you're doing dimushumo na
khane ndi mushumo ndi zwanga ndi zwa bafasi ndi chimbula nazo. If I need to elaborate in an English way, I will say I'm the social commentator who takes the views and the inspiration of people to concise and precise in a poetic phrases and to communicate them across. My poem, I define my poem spontaneously, and it carries a lot of spiritual emotion. So, and I cannot predetermine what I will say because I'm the voice to the voiceless and the mouthpiece of the ancestors and the nation. So, kan ne iba itoba mushumo ndi zwithu zwine ndachira zwone ḓuvha liṅwe na liṅwe. Ndo no lingedza, I'm a qualified women resource management with a diploma, but I couldn't work. A thi ngo kona u nga shuma kana wana that opportunity because ndi zwithu zwa vhafhasi, ndi zwithu zwa vhadzimu na mudzimu. Zwi vha zwi khou ṱoḓa uri zwi tou nga ngari ni mushumo na vhori ni tou tshila wone tshifhinga tshoṱhe na ita nyito khawo ni nga si kone u hana. Ndi mpho ye na tou fhiwa. It's more than like a talent. Hezwi zwithu zwi vha zwi tshi tou nga ni tshi tou vha mpho ye na tou fhiwa na tou tshimbila nayo. Ni nga si hane, ni nga si deny. How do you discover yourself that you are a praise poet? It's when by ndo pfa una vhathu vhanzhi vha khou vhudzisa vha sa kone u pfhesesa uri ni discover hani. It's whereby spiritually hu ḓo ḓa zwithu kha ini maipfi a khou tou ḓa ni sa ḓivhi uri a khou bva gai na thoma u welela. Hezwi ni tshi thoma u welela musi ni tshi tou thoma u ntsha ipfi ḽanu ndi hanefho ni tshi kona u takadza vhathu vha pfa vha tshi mangala vha ri mavhudzi a thoma u imela nṱha, the goosebump and all the stuff. That's why vhunzhi ha vhathu vhaṅwe vha tshi ri u amba ha kona u vha na mulalo. Ndi vharabeli, ndi vharabeli, ndi vhafhodzi, ndi dziṅanga, ndi vhaporofita. Ri nga zwi menshana nga nḓila dzoṱhe ngauri vharendi ndi vhone vho faraho arali hu tshi khou itwa mushumo muṅwe na muṅwe. Vharendi ndi vhone vhathu vhane vhori vha tou vha mvelaphanḓa ya tshiṅwe na tshiṅwe. Ndi vhone vho faraho phaṱhutshedzo dzavho vhane vha khou tou amba. Even the president himself a tshi khou tou thoma u amba uri zwithu zwi tshimbile zwavhuḓi hu tou vha na murendi. So other things zwine ri khou zwi vhona hafha kha shango ḽashu ndi ngazwo zwi sa khou tshimbila zwavhuḓi. It's because ro laṱa zwa hashu, ro laṱa vhufa vha hashu. Vharendi ndi vhone vhane vha ḓivha uri vhafhasi uri ri ite so na so na so to ite so. So praise poet are the ones that would direct the people that we need to speak first, the people that who have the message to can utter. It's either the kings, it's either the chiefs, it's either the president, it's either the mayor or wherever. if you want people to hear you, if you want to convince people so that they can hear whatever you're saying or whatever you are delivering, it needs a poet. Poet can connect with the spirit, all of them. Murendu kono connectana. But how do you do that? It's when by you are being given. That's why nendo konova murendi yana wori di renda nga chaka zote zopambana nao. Zangita orendi kono renda in a different spaces on that.
Yo, I love ukuthi uqale wasihlukanisela melody ukuthi kukhona into ekuthiwa yi-talent and then khona lesisipho ke esikhulu esinamandla ngendlela emangalisayo. And I mean for me, we were talking at break was wabuza ukuthi niyabhala kuqala or mhlambe uyayiplana lento, and I love that she's clarified ukuthi cha kuyayifikela because uyaboniswa ngokomoya.
You know what I struggle with? Bengibuka Africa Day sila sonke. And besibuka COVID-19 bekhona and abantu bengasebenzi. And I then wonder ukuthi kunomsebenzi lesipho emphiwa sona. Is it something esikwazi ukuthi singathi it's sustainable? Because we are looking at Lungsane as an example of how much it's become a job, as Ukwezi also said, but is it a job that truly ongaphila ngayo?
Mfowethu, kuthi angikhale mawubuza lo mbuzo. Ngoba sithi osonkondlo nezimbongi sebewuperfectile umsebenzi wabo. Kodwa umbuzo uthi the commercial world, is it receiving it? Iyayithola, i-appreciate ngendlela na? Sinosonkondlo abathi benomsebenzi omuhle befe belambile.
Sure.
It's not sustainable. Basically, answer iti it's not sustainable because asikakazi siwathole ama platforms njengamaciko azo create demand yalo msebenzi. Kwaze kwaba khona into eyayikhuluma ngo100% local content. Yarana kancane and kodwa yathi kuleso sikhashana esincane siranile kunamaculo esasingakazi siwazi ukuthi ha kanti kunamaculo amnandi kanje eAfrika, kunezinto ezimnandi kanje eAfrika. Kwase kuba ukuthi ispace so showcase no exhibit umsebenzi wethu kaningi as ownwa ithina, si ownwa umuntu esothi masikhuluma thina angasizwa yena. So kufanele sizame ukuya kuyena so that ezosizwa. Uma besingathola abantu aba-owner lezi stage zokwazisa, si-national, si-international njengamanje, inkondlo ayaziwa, siyazi emakhoneni nasemva kwezindlu nakuma-theatre athize, asiyazi on the public platforms. Why? Because the public platforms are not owned by us. So ezinye zezinto lezi ezithi how best can we create platforms for poets to showcase and exhibit their craft, then it will be sustainable.
Kakhulukazi kuma-broadcasters, you've got a plethora of shows, kodwa 30 minutes eyodwa sithe yesintu. Ma-radio stations, it's music, we never hear inkondlo and so forth. All right, we've got somebody else on the line. Sithe angeke sakwazisa, it up to you. We want to know ukuthi wena lapha eBrongospruit ungubani? Sawubona sakwamukela ohlelweni lethu.
Thobela.
Thobela. Re bolela le mang? Wa ko kae? O tswala ke mang?
Peter Brongospruit. Nna ke madimbetsa go share ditau ba re go leng go teleport ka utsa mabala swa. Ba di fa di mabala swa tsana ke nna ke mpost la phoka le rupu ke tla. I can say in spedi in kondo ne bongo the same thing. It's reto, but it's not like it's a job or it's a spiritual calling. Because more especially when you are in deep, then we are kala uba semoyeni.
And it's so sad because we were still building into his story. So story saying aloko mani network inokuphazamisa imoya yethu. Say it all. When we come back, we get to wrap up the conversation now and begin to It is idaily Thetha la ku-SABC 1 Mbukeli. Njengoba uhlele ekhaya, yazi sibonge namhlanje ukuthi uthola ukuthi uhlale nathi, uhambe nathi on this journey. Njengoba sikhuluma about something that is close to home, but also something that kumele sifundise ulusha namhlanje olukhona ngalo, because you know bowukhula, we're saying with Pearl ukuthi bowukhula you hold closer to la ubuya khona. Kodwa busasemncane awunandaba, because I have time ngizobuyela emuva, and not everyone has that time, and that's why we want to use this as teaching moments. And you say, as a songwriter, as someone who does not just write because you can, but it's something that is spiritually inclined. As you look into the future, what are the things that we need to anticipate with this culture of imbingo and inkondo also being a part of our culture?
I would say, Mina, due to where I am now, I'm a songwriter and a poet. I'm putting inkondlo into songs, trying to make it commercial. So that's at some point, music videos you can watch on TV, you know. So I think the future has to be that, you know, we have to. I'm not saying people must commercialize, but in order for it to be out there, that's the only way somehow. So, yeah.
You're not the tricky leyo engibonayo mina about the type of work that you do. Ukuthi nihamba kube nina that now need to adjust lento eniyenzayo. Kanti biveli inhle. But now, in order for you to be accommodated in this commercial world, do you feel ukuthi that restricts you as a creative? Do you feel ukuthi, or does it push your boundaries to do more?
I think it pushes the boundaries,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
It's a challenge, and anyone can do it, because you don't have to change what you do or the way you sound. You can put it out there. You just gotta make it listenable, man. Out there, when they're in their cars or whatever. So that's what we're trying to tackle with this see and the commercial poetry, because people are sleeping on poetry a lot, you know. Yeah.
Sure. The next generation of izimbongi, do you even think there is a next generation that we can expect?
Ke dumela re ba gona diriti ke tše dintši tše di tlilego ba gona kudu ge e le gore rena re išika re kana mokgwa mo e le gore re tšwetša pele le mo mafaratlhatlheng mo dikgokaganyong tša lago re šomiša tšona di-social media e ka gore ke mo e le gore ba gona ge ba bona gore batho ba go swana le rena ba kgona go tšweletša setšo se goba ba kgone go tšwelelela ka go reta ke moka ke mo e le gore le bona ba tlo kgona go ba gona le ge e le gore ba kgone go bona gore re a tšwelelela kudu kgalobela gešo ka ga boletše gore ba re thege ka tša mašeleng o se ka botše le gore e re bolaiša tlala ka baka la gore ge re bolaiša tlala ba tlile bona gore awa wa nka ya tlaleng kaone e le gore nka opela tše dingwe tše e le gore e molemo o tla dikwa ke bolele ka polelo ela ya ešele wa bona mara ge e le gore re ka re mošomo wa rena wa thegiwa le ona motho a se ka hotša anya kompitšana gore no e tla o tlo ntirele ka lekgolo a tsebe gore le nna ke mmereko wa ka ke tšea nako e le gore ke dithuta tšona kore ka ge endapo ya šetša boletse gore no go reta go no tšwa mo moyeng wa reta ka mokgomolo o mongwe e le gore fa ke moya mara go na le tše e le gore ke mo e le gore re tšwa gona ke tša gore kwene mang like tše re swantse re ithute tšona o swantse gore o di bale ka mogana o tse gore o ba ke ba ga mamang ba tšwa kae kae ba tšwa kae kae nako e o e tšea go bala moo ke nako matšetši a gore ke šiwa nako so ge ana nako e le gore ke a itšea ke dithuta sereto se sa geno o swantse gore o tle o e lefele nka seno e direla mahala ka ona mokgwa o ene ge bana ba bona gore re kgone go tšwelela le nna re kgone go diphediša ke moka le bona ba tla kgona go itšea ba tšwela pele ka yona ba tsa gore ga ba tlo no šomela mahala ba senya nako ya bona
Nothing for mahala nje impela. Venda boy anbo iye kuyifihla sometimes asintoli kuma social asintoli as bold and as loud as you guys are when you are live. Can we do more ukuthi sinibone?
Yeah, recording nga nḓila dzoṱhe uri ri kone u vhonala tshithu tsha na uri ro tshi zama tshi ita as I'll be talking about mine. I also nominated for the Summer Awards as I've done muzika wa thank you. Thank you for that. Also nominated for SATMA Award. I'm a multilingual, multi-award winner on SATMA Awards because SATMA always embraces mafhungo a culture na mvelele yashu. So zwiṅwe zwithu zwine vhori ri a zwi ita rine ndi u ita muzika ri tshi khou ita muzika uri kone u dovha hafhu wa kona u vha kha vhathu vhoṱhe mara vhathu vha tou ri sapota vha ri tikedze nga nḓila dzoṱhe dzine vha nga kona ngauri
hezwi samusi ndono ziyamba ndimpho yabafasi. You can look at me, look at Matalana and me, we don't wear shoes. And it's not uri aritodi unga ambara zwienda. Zwitobori zwiko ritodo ri songo ambara zwienda. Ngauri rambara zwienda vanga stande badzimu. You know, you understand? So it's a very ndimushumo mulapfu nga maanda une rava hone zwino ngauri ni rono ambara kha iṅwe level ane vhori ari tsha kona nga umela murahu. So ri na support ri need nga maanda. Social media roṱhe ri ko zama nga nḓila dzoṱhe uri ri vhe hone kha dzi platform no lingedza uri muzika washu na vhurendi ngo to ralo ri vhuita na mapiano ri khou ita uri hu itwe nga vhurendi. Anything that comes, we're not going to be challenged by the system of the new system.
Yes.
If new system it comes, then we push poetry on it. We push our brain, kana rikobuita nga mapiano, kana rikobuita nga house music, so that risongo vya radi chamberere ya
shuya. And the one collaboration between Wawe na Makadzi. I'll leave it there.
Sithi spoke kakhulu to all our guests at the video smoke call isikhathi senu ngesisho sithize sithi ke angisum Africa ngoba ngizalelwe la kodwa ngum Africa ngoba umhlaba uphila ngakumina ngithi njoba sesiphuma sivala ngokwazi insele who is of course imbongi yesiZulu. Siyabonga mbukeli.
Thina sihlubudlu bekhasini inhliziyo zethu zibe zopha igazi. Bebuzo mambethe kabale ngane ekhuluma usizi ngomlomo wayo. Ikhuluma amagama aqhasha izinhlansi kunokumsiza usizi ngowahlafuna lamagama lumela kabuhlungu njengathi nezihlabathi zamathuna. Zihlobo zami zegazi ngingaphatheka manje ngibona ngikhuluma amagama ngwasheba nesinyembezi. Ingaphakathi lami liboli legcwele ihlule kunempeza wami. Ngimemeza ngiphezulu ezintabeni ngithi kholo lwami ngithatha ungiphakamisele phezulu. Ngoba ithemba lami selikuwona ophezulu ngithi phendula. Njengobani wakhala kusomandla athi baba ngisebunyama nakakuthola ukukhanya. Thina sikhalisiwe sakhala sakhalipha sakha ngalomthandazo ngibhekene niva kunale zinto abazaseneva neva noma indlela mina meva kodwa nisoze nangifica nofica amalobe ezinyawo zami ekhandula igazi. Thina sagcobeka sagxotshwa sagxotshiswa kodwa abazange baxolisa kodwa sabaxolela. Saxolisa kwesabona namanje siyabona ukuthi abaxolile. Abanye siphila nabo nje kodwa siyazi bazizonda. Sihleka noma sikhathazekile isiswini silambile esindla ukuthi umthakathi engaboni ukuthi intando yakhe sifezekile. Kuhlangene iziphathi amandla esiphethe amandla nezinamandla ngizanye uqedwa amandla kodwa ngivumanga ukuphela amandla ngoba ngaze ngambona uhamba nosomandla engqotshiwe. Sifohla sebevalile noma kumnyama lapho ngikhona ngiyokhala ngiyaphambili ngoba phambili ngiyakubona ukukhanya makukhona umemeza igama lami sebumnyama lapho ngiyakhona akiyo abayila babuyanga ngomphendula ngisathane iphumela obala noma ngalazi iphimbo lakho kodwa lonkulumo ifana nawe ukwazi insele enkahle mahlatha mnyama.